Can you believe that about 20 years ago you couldn't enter a pub wearing a Burberry coat? Yeah, the same Burberry Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II wore to her holiday trip. These signs were all over Britain in early aughts because of the brand's unwanted associations with the Chav subculture. In 2003, Burberry lost almost 30% of their profit from UK sales but was able to restore its financial glory and reputation as a respected luxury brand. How did all of that happen and what strategy did Burberry use? You will learn in just a bit. And if you are new to the channel, my name is Lisa. This is Stolbova Brand, Luxury Strategy Explained. I share weekly insights on luxury branding. So hit the subscribe button and let's uncover the curious case of Burberry. The context. The Burberry brand has an exciting history stretching back to the year 1856, when it was established as a men's outerwear by Thomas Burberry. Through the years, it has been building distinguishing identity brick by brick with all of the brand's marketing efforts. But sometimes the image that is being created by tireless strivings of the brand team slips out of their control and becomes a common property. The challenge Burberry was facing in the aughts was just the high point of the crisis that began in the late 90s. Since the 1960s, Burberry has been contributing to its luxury status by elaborately creating a recognizable image of the Burberry look. Although today images with these taglines seem like hyped-up old money style looks, at the time they were perceived as attributes of old-fashioned, cozy, middle-aged, semi-rural lifestyle. Simply said, they were not considered cool. By the early 90s, Burberry had already grossly overused the tagline that was washed out of any weight after 30 years in operation. And the problem wasn't rooted in the slogan itself, it was fine. Except that it didn't have the depth and the complexity to transform from just a tagline into a big idea. A big idea is the overarching message that underpins all elements of a campaign in order to resonate with the target audience. It is often a very synthetical concept that can be stretched in different contexts and dimensions. That is why the big idea can last for decades. For example, MasterCard's campaign Priceless appeared in 1997, but the brand still uses the same slogan without it being all washed out or blurred, because it has enough interpretative potential to be used as a big idea. On top of the declining brand image that was perceived as lacking innovation and even style, Burberry has damaged its reputation by excessively licensing the brand in Asia and Europe in the 1980s. It even came to the point where you could buy coasters, whiskies, umbrellas, and even dog diapers with the Burberry trademark on them. And it goes without saying that having a famous British check on every other pooping dog didn't help much with the brand's reputation. This is an excellent illustration of what happens if a luxury brand doesn't protect its exclusivity and focuses on short-term profits rather than on building long-term success. All of these resulted in a massive decrease in profits in 1997, when Burberry's profit dropped more than 2 times from £62 million to £25 million. Of course, such financial shock forced the brand to immediately take a course on transformation and alter their business model. Major changes started when Rosemary Bravo was appointed as Burberry's new creative director. First, the new CEO seemed like she totally understood the assignment, especially when she introduced a new advertising campaign featuring Kate Moss, the iconic model. Kate Moss started to appear in many Burberry's advertising campaigns, surrounded by young, uninhibited people, showcasing original designs. Although traditionally luxury brands should keep celebrities out of their advertising, as it may damage their own image and they don't want to appear weak. In case of Burberry, they didn't have much to lose, at least as it seemed. A series of ads featuring Kate Moss has helped to shift perception of Burberry toward a more vital, modern and aspirational image. Thus, they were able to break the pattern of a conservative image lasting from the 1960s and begin the revitalization of the brand. Riding on the wave of youth culture at Burberry, they decided that launching cheaper entry-level product lines would be a great idea as it will broaden the brand's customer base, consequently benefiting the sales. But if they had watched this video, they would have known that it is an extremely dangerous idea. Although the revitalization project seemed successful at first, eventually it turned into a PR disaster and almost buried Burberry as a luxury brand. The problem: Chavs check. In 2004, every British newspaper had a photo of a person wearing Burberry clothes being arrested at least once. Numerous articles reported how Burberry has become an emblem of the Chav subculture. Every decent bar in London and Leicester have announced that people wearing Burberry clothes shall be banned from entering their premises. It all reached a high point in a statement that many bar owners in Scotland felt like Burberry has become the badge of thuggery. The reason is those Chavs, British term for thugs, football hooligans or just antisocial lower-class youth dressed in sportswear with gold jewelry, often with violent tendencies, adopted Burberry entry-level products as the elements of their signature style. This subculture is considered the most hated in Britain and has done a lot of damage to Burberry's image. Now, the reason why the Chavs decided to wear Burberry is pretty clever. Because of the brand's conservative luxury image, it was a perfect cover for the hooligans to enter some public places where they were unwanted and avoid the police attention. Of course, just wearing a label was not enough for Chavs to cover their true nature. Obviously, they lacked manners as well as any notion of style and were easily recognizable for their behavior. Despite wearing Burberry caps, they ended up kicked out of the bars and arrested. Thus, the connection between Burberry and these incidents of football hooliganism and thuggery was created. And there is a whole study by Dr. Weston dedicated to the in-depth analysis of this phenomenon. Dr. Weston analyzed the police specials forum and confirmed an existing connection between Burberry and hooliganism. She quoted one of the participants who indicated the hooligans can easily be identified among others by wearing Burberry caps. A public opinion on the new Burberry looks was no better. A website Chavs.com, which sends up hooligans for their terrible sense in dress, had a section devoted to Burberry cap wearers and ran a weekly competition to find a Chav of the week from pictures sent by the users. And more often than not, the Chav was wearing Burberry item of clothing. Thus, Burberry was forced to discontinue the range of baseball caps and drop its signature check pattern. This negative reputation also led to a drop of demand on Burberry's products, particularly in central London. What's interesting is consumers' perception of the brand had a direct effect on the economic behavior of other consumers. The control over the brand's image slipped away from the brand's owner in the critical moment of change, when the world was stepping into the age of information. It was as never before absolutely crucial to control the narrative, but Burberry was not ready to do so. The situation was aggravated even further as marketing was stepping into the new consumer era, where the customer's influence on brand reputation increased with every passing minute. It is also important to understand that despite marketing efforts being played exactly by the book, marketers are working with people's perception, not in abstract entities like the market. When positioning a brand, it is not enough to draw a positioning map, to formulate strategic goals and even implement adequate tactics in your content and advertising. Because as a marketing manager of a brand, you must create an image that exists in people's minds, not only your customers, what's especially important for luxury brands, but people in general. Ideally, they must have a mind map with all your competitors and differentiating traits and locate your brand exactly where you have positioned it. So the main difficulty is to make people think exactly what you want them to think. But you can't apply mass hypnosis here, nor can you order them. That is why, despite Burberry's overall successful advertising strategies creating a luxury and refinement image, The brand faced the Chav problem and desperately needed a fresh start. The solution. Many studies and articles point out one particular action that saved Burberry from further damnation. Like here, the author is writing, by endorsing Kate Moss, Burberry adopted her traits almost overnight, transforming into a fashion icon with sex appeal. Well, you can destroy one's reputation overnight, but restoration of the brand's glory is a meticulous process that takes time and precision in a holistic approach. And only by implementing integrated strategy, not by endorsing Kate Moss alone, Burberry was able to overcome the damage. They started with hiring a new CEO, Angela Ahrendts, who was able to mitigate Burberry's decline in prestige. Burberry was associated with Chavs mainly through its check pattern caps. Just look at this caricature of a Chav wearing what is obviously a Burberry check cap. So the first step was to break this association, and the new CEO immediately limited the number of clothing and accessories carrying the Burberry check pattern to only 10%, minimizing the damage ubiquitous counterfeits had caused to sales. Then, in the global moment of change, when the world was stepping into the digital age, Burberry took the lead and paved the way for all other brands to follow. Now in 2023, it may sound obvious, but the things they did back in 2010 set the industry standards that everyone follows today. They started with an integrated analysis of consumer preferences and behavior using big data-based analytics. Burberry's website was one of the first redesigned to be mobile-friendly. They embraced innovation by heavily promoting social media, where they hosted live streams and created original, meaningful content, not just presence. They even promoted the website at their stores, encouraging consumers to order online. Angela Ahrendts envisioned the digital future of the luxury industry as early as 2006. And took a steady course on conquering, at the time, the unknown world. Burberry was the first brand to livestream its fashion runway shows on its website in the year 2010. It was also one of the first brands to use virtual reality and virtual image technologies, such as holograms and projections, in its flagship store in Beijing. After being so successful in the use of the digital strategies, Burberry took a more drastic step into the virtual reality realm by launching Magic Mirrors in September 2012 in London Regent Street store. These digital mirrors were huge interactive screens that gave a full 360 degrees immersive experience to their customers. This innovative in-store merchandising increased the footfall in the Regent Street store by 20% in the following 6 months. In 2013, Burberry came up with a new marketing and merchandising strategy involving the use of virtual reality for its new product, Burberry Kisses, a line of lipstick launched in that year. To promote its beauty product line, Burberry partnered with Google and created a unique digital experience that was unheard of before in the fashion world. Burberry wanted to explore the concept of affection and love by the simple action of sending a kiss virtually. And exactly before that, Angela Ahrendts oversaw a buying back process of brands' fragrances and beauty products licenses to protect brand from erosion with third parties' harmful actions. The virtual kiss targeted the millennial market and was inspired by their need to be always connected to technology and to each other. The Burberry virtual kiss was once again a breakthrough in the fashion digitalization world. This simple yet technologically enriched campaign once again upped the sales and the footfall in the store. Then, in 2015, once again Burberry used virtual reality for its personalized campaign called Burberry Booth. In collaboration with Google, the Burberry Booth gave the in-store customers an opportunity to share their images alongside celebrities using real-time video stitching technology on their social media platforms. The list of innovations integrated into Burberry's marketing efforts goes on and on till recent metaverse endeavors and the further development of VR technologies. The resounding success of this strategy once again highlighted how innovations are important for luxury brands' growth, how they enrich the heritage and help brands stay up to date while maintaining their historical value. The final step of this cycle of acceptance is, well, acceptance. And in 2018, Burberry left the Chavs story ultimately behind by collaborating with Gosha Rubchinsky, who is known to famously draw inspiration from his post-Soviet childhood, with hooliganism, youth culture and other subcultures. Burberry now was not defined by the actions of Chavs. The brand was owning the situation by ironically presenting it on the runway. Thus, by meticulously planning their strategy and implementing integrated tactics, Burberry was able to overcome what threatened to be a fatal fall. The results of this strategy speak for themselves. In 2015, Burberry achieved the highest rating in its recent history in terms of brand value. Moreover, in the same year, Burberry managed to reach a 10-year track record of dramatic growth in revenues, profitability and market capitalization, even after accounting for the costs of resurrecting. Burberry continued its growth and now is absolutely free of the negative association that once almost buried these historic brands. Thank you for watching this video. Share with me in the comments how would you handle the Chavs crisis if you were the Burberry CEO. And if you learned something new today, don't forget to like this video. Subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the next video with more exciting insights on luxury branding on Thursday.